Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Monday edition of Today in Sports Betting. No NBA today for the first time in, I don't know, Scott, 7 or 8 years. We haven't had an NBA game. It seems like a long time. So
Well, the
we're
protests were about 2 weeks ago, so probably around 2 weeks.
on 2 weeks. Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. I forgot our little mid-season or end-of-season hiatus there. But we're going to talk about the NFL to kick it off before we wrap it up on our next show with MLB. Scott, I know you and I spent a lot of time talking off air about what a great start we got off to as far as the NFL.
Your start was better than mine, so you won week one of the NFL, whatever we're even doing.
I did the Scott and Scott challenge.
I don't even know how you want to do it. We're doing an overall record, we're doing a match play system, like we're going week by week. How do you want to do this?
Probably just overall record. I think
Okay.
is what we'll go for here. Yeah, it went okay. Those were the only picks I had. But on the premium side, I was not as lucky, Scott. I saved all my good picks just for you and I. And when it came to the picks that I sold, I actually took one of yours and made it a premium pick. And
Yeah, and they lost outright. So nice stuff.
go well. It was
You know that it wasn't going to go your day when your play of the day. I'm talking about myself. Was a player prop over 53.5 rushing yards for Marlon Mack. He's 26 in the first quarter, and then suffers a non-contact Achilles injury, and he's out for the year.
yeah. It wasn't.
Literally with like 12 minutes left in the second quarter.
It wasn't good. Just
He was on
review
pace
here.
for 100. It was a damn shame. But yeah, a lot of stuff happened there. I'm sure I don't even know if we could either recap it now or wait till the NFL show later in the week. But
Let's talk real quick about our picks. Started off, I had the Packers. I thought the Packers looked real good. I thought the Vikings looked dreadful.
let me ask you a question: how does Kirk Cousins only attempt 5 passes in the first half?
I don't know. I mean, you knew it was going to be a running team. You knew. You knew
5
that.
pass attempts in the first half? What are you kidding me?
Here's the sad part about that, Scott. I also had the under in that game, and
At least you split it.
you'd think with 5 passing attempts I'd be in good shape, but
No.
yeah, not so much. And so that was my first pick. I had the Packers plus 2.5. What was your first pick?
Well, for the sake of it, we'll go with my. Oh, you talking about just the 3 that we had for the
Yeah,
show?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. My first play, I had Dolphins plus 7, which was a real fun one. They ended up cutting it to what was it? They cut it to a 4. Then the Patriots immediately went down the field and scored after a couple third down conversions. So they brought it to 11. They brought it to 10.
Yeah, it was 14 to 11. Going into that last drive where they just let the Patriots go down there and.
But it wasn't 11. No, it was 10. No, yeah, they cut it from 13 to 10. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, they cut it from 10 to 3, went back to 10, and then I had 7. So Fitzpatrick has 3rd and 6 at New England's 9-yard line with a minute and a half to go. They're going to kick a field goal if they don't get it because they clearly need to make it a one-possession game.
Right.
But one thing I need to avoid is a third Fitzpatrick interception, and of course he throws an interception on third and goal, and I ended up losing that instead of looking at a push. Was I going to win? No. I was clearly going to get a push. I was basically free-rolling a push, or I was free-rolling a win because they scored a touchdown, then the game's over. But, yeah, Fitzpatrick threw a pick. I ended up losing.
Hey, Scott, while we're at it, could you explain to me Mike McCarthy not kicking a field goal down 20-17 with about 10 minutes left in that game there against the Rams last night? Any thoughts there?
I was not surprised the offense came back on the field.
Right.
Because I thought they were going to do one of those BS quick fake snap trying to draw them offside. So I was not surprised Dak Prescott came on the field, especially after Jared Goff got like 3 offside penalties against the defense just by fake snapping. So I wasn't surprised. I was shocked when they snapped the ball. That blew my mind. I thought they were going to fake it, try to draw them offside, keep the drive alive. They would
timeout, or he would take the 5 yards down there where it really
take the 5 yards. They're going to kick it. Zerline's a good kicker. I know he missed a 50-something yarder, but this is like a 28-yard chippy. So I'm thinking, okay, that's fine. They'll tie the game, whatever. And I see them snap the ball, and I'm thinking, wait a second, what are we doing here? And then he throws it 2 yards to CeeDee Lamb, and you needed 3. And then what do you know? The Cowboys lose by exactly 3 points. Who would have thought? I really just didn't see that coming.
You think Dallas fans figured it would take more than one game to miss Jason Garrett?
That was the opposite. That was a very interesting factor, was because Mike McCarthy did the exact opposite thing that Jason Garrett would have done in this situation,
Right.
and yet it still didn't work out.
Jason Garrett, very conservative.
Garrett's the conservative guy who would have he would
followed.
have punted if it was 4th and 2 at the opposing 40. But yeah, he easily would have kicked the field goal. I thought it was a no-brainer. I mean, you just forced Goff into an interception. They were kind of struggling a little bit to finish off drives the entire night, and yet they just decided, no, we're going to go for it. I'm thinking, why would you do that? And then they just, I don't know, ended up losing. I'm not surprised. Having said that, I mean, the main issue, in my opinion, for the game was the passing interference penalty. But then you have to remember that Goff also got hit in the head on his interception. They just didn't call illegal hands to the face. So I root for the Cowboys. I am not going to chalk it all up to terrible officiating because I thought that it balanced out both sides because that Goff interception was huge. And they ended up not calling anything out of that. But for the most part, that 4th and 3 was just an absolute disaster. And people could say, well, I was fine with going for it. It's an aggressive move. Analytics support it, whatever. Then my question for you is, why the hell are you running a draw play on 3rd and 6?
I don't think analytics support that.
No, but I'm saying, like, let's just say for a second that the math people say it was technically the right move because that seems to always be the case when they make these mistakes. Why are you running a draw play on 3rd and 6?
Yeah, I catching them off guard. I don't know.
I don't know. Congratulations, they got 3 yards, and then you're going to go for it anyway. Just
that whole sequence was ridiculous for me.
The whole thing with the Cowboys was annoying because you know that they couldn't stop Aaron Donald going in, and Aaron Donald did whatever he wanted defensively. I feel like the Cowboys did not attempt to pass more than 10 yards down the field before the Gallup play.
Yeah.
I don't think they had any deep passes the entire game, which might have been because, defensive line was so good that they just had to get rid of it quickly. But at some point, you got to take a shot downfield or something.
Well, you got to roll the pocket. You got to move against the pressure.
They didn't do anything. All they did was just chuck it up to Gallup in the last minute of the game. But before that, it was just a bunch of dump off passes.
Yeah, agreed.
No, from a Cowboys fan perspective, I know a lot of people are upset about the pass interference or the lack thereof, and I get it. At the end of the day, it should have been a tie game, and you shouldn't have been in the situation. And that interception that Goff had that ended up giving the Cowboys the ball probably shouldn't have counted either. So you can argue both ways.
I'm still trying to figure out why they spent $5 billion on a stadium and put a roof on it in Los Angeles, arguably some of the best weather in the world.
I'm still trying to figure out why they spent $5 billion on a stadium and nobody's going to go to their games.
It was a little light last night.
No, the same thing about the Marlins in baseball. Yeah, we're going to have this brand new stadium. It's going to be $1 billion. Fantastic. Where are the people? Just nobody goes to their games? You think people are going to go to Rams games?
Well, people go see the Rams games.
They might see it for just the new stadium, but you think there's actually going to be longevity with the Rams fan base?
We'll see.
Half their fan base is still in St. Louis.
Oh no.
And I'm saying back then when they actually used to sell stuff out, then the Rams. I feel like most people in St. Louis disowned the Rams after they left.
I know they hate them in St. Louis too.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know who's going to go to their games.
All right. So then I went one up. I went one up on you there. I did have the Bills over the Jets. That was probably my.
That was the easiest winner of the day.
Yeah, and of course, on the premium side, I had the under there. And
did that win or did that lose? I don't.
It lost.
Okay.
It lost at the last minute when they.
The Jets scored a garbage time touchdown late.
The Jets come down and score in garbage time. Exactly right. Okay. So, what was your second play?
I had the Colts, which we already went through. That was just awful. And
I had the Colts on a premium play there. Yeah, mine is 8.
And my third one was the Washington Eagles first half under 21.5. They had 17 with about, I don't know, a minute and a half to go. Wentz throws an interception at roughly midfield. Redskins are being shut out the entire first half and decide to score a touchdown with 20 seconds left in the half.
And that lit a fire on them for the rest of the game. At least it wasn't a garbage wasted touchdown where they didn't.
It wasn't, but the fact that you have an interception in midfield, a field goal, and you're safe. The only thing you can't allow is a touchdown. And the team that's been shut out for the first 29 minutes has to score a touchdown in the final 30 seconds.
Agreed.
That just wasn't fun. But yeah, it was not a good day for the NFL.
And my third pick, the only one that I missed of the 3 that you and I did, was the one that was completely market driven. And it was even more market driven as the week went on. It ended. I said
it's one of those teams that people look into every year, and then in week 2 you realize, why did they bring everybody back from last year?
There were so many trends that pointed towards the Seahawks here. The Seahawks are one of the better.
It was a massive trap one, except I'm looking at Atlanta saying Atlanta is the trap. They always are the trap.
That was the thing. And, again, I played this. I wanted to do an experiment and kind of talk to the people about, how we make some decisions based on the market, how it's reacting. And yeah, I wanted to get out in front of the line move as much as I could. Took Atlanta plus 2.5. Dreadful pick, Russell Wilson.
I remember you just gave it out. I'm saying I don't care about the line movement. I'm taking Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll over Dan Quinn and Matt Ryan, and that worked out pretty well.
Yep, and that was a play where your head absolutely should have ruled. It's a game that I had no interest in.
I didn't expect Matt Ryan to throw for 450 plus yards, though. I did not see that coming at all.
It didn't matter.
Oh, it was all garbage time. I'm just saying I did not expect him to throw for 450 passing yards.
No, when you're playing 20 yards off, it's going to happen. So
yeah.
So yeah, that was it. That was our first show. I expect better things out of you. I think the season will get better. We learned a lot.
I expect better things out of me too. So
we learned a lot yesterday, Scott. We learned, first of all, old quarterbacks who change teams aren't necessarily very good.
Well, that's the issue that you have to wonder with the shortened off season, the no preseason games. Were new quarterbacks and new systems going to struggle?
Right.
You saw it with some rookies. Joe Burrow didn't exactly look good. The final drive was really nice before the kicker pulled a handy on the 31-yard field goal. But Burrow was awful for 3 quarters, and then, or I'd say first quarter was okay. The middle 2 weren't great. That shovel pass interception was a joke. That was bad, but the final drive was good.
That's something where you go, that didn't even work in the SEC.
Yeah, but you're trying to wonder how many quarterbacks that switch teams actually look pretty good. And you're going through the names. Phillip Rivers had a lot of yards. I didn't think exactly he looked good, but he had a lot of yards. Tom Brady
he was great compared to Brady.
Brady was terrible.
Terrible.
I'd say for about 3 quarters. He picked it up a little bit after a really, really bad second quarter.
Once it didn't matter.
Other than that, I'm trying to think the best quarterback who looked to in a new situation was either Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And Newton only had 100-something passing yards, but Belichick was just licking his fingers, going, "I have a quarterback who can run faster than 1 mile an hour."
He's already set the Patriots record for rushing attempts by a quarterback in a game.
Yeah, I mean, Cam only had like 111 passing yards, but they kept running the damn college option system, and Newton kept running forward for 5 yards.
Yeah, he'd run the read option, and
I thought Teddy Bridgewater looked good as well. I know they didn't win the game against the Raiders. I actually thought Bridgewater did a pretty good job.
You know what? I'm going to reserve judgment on that because that Raiders defense is terrible.
Correct. So. I'm just saying, anytime you score 30 and you end up losing, and your coach calls a play not for Christian McCaffrey on a 4th and 1 when on a must-have drive, I'm not going to blame that on Teddy Bridgewater. That's just my thought. I thought he was okay.
I thought Josh Allen looked okay.
I'm talking about quarterbacks in new systems.
No, I know. I'm going through the list here. I
thought Allen looked pretty good in the first half. He did basically nothing in the second half, and those 2 fumbles were pretty bad.
Well, he's going to fumble.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a big Josh Allen guy, but then again, you're playing the Jets defense. I don't know what that counts as. The Ravens looked just. I don't even know what to talk about with regard to the Ravens and Cleveland there.
I you talk about
I knew Baltimore was going to be insane, but Cleveland, come on, guys.
Yeah, you can talk about how bad Cleveland is.
That's a new coach. That's another situation. You have a new coach, and it didn't work out. I don't know what Cleveland was doing.
You see what trended during the game? You can hear this hashtag that trended during the game?
I don't know if I want to know.
Who's coaching next year?
Oh, that's a good hashtag right there.
So, yeah, we learned that when you switch systems in the NFL, you need some practice time.
And I still think that one of the worst coach games from a coach that won yesterday was Anthony Lynn from the Chargers. Oh. I have never been a fan of Lynn. People like him. I know there's a lot of great stuff with regard to humanitarian wise, but as a head football coach, the dude can't coach. I'm sorry. He was awful in that game. Anytime you get stuffed on a read option on 4th and 2, and then you run the same exact thing on 4th and 1, you don't get it a second time, you should probably be fired at halftime. You run the same play after getting stuffed the first time and then not make it again. Are you serious?
You catch him by surprise there. Nobody would expect you to run it again. Yeah,
because it's stupid. No, I've never thought Anthony Lynn was a good coach, and even though they won yesterday, I thought that he was terrible. So that just reinforced the belief I had about Anthony Lynn. But anyway, I feel like people are just waiting for our picks today. I feel like
I know. I was just Tyrod Taylor was not good. He was
Tyrod Taylor. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't really do anything flashy, but they won the game.
16 for 30, 208 yards.
No, he's very similar to Alex Smith in his prime, where you just look around and say his stats aren't going to be impressive, but he's going to win games.
Bite your tongue. Good Lord.
What?
Alex Smith was a much better.
Alex Smith is much better. I'm talking about from a game manager perspective, where you look at the stat lines and you say, I'm not surprised he has no touchdowns, but they're winning.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they're the same talent level. I'm saying based on the actual just responsibility of both quarterbacks is mostly to not lose the game. That's their role. That's what they were supposed to do their entire career.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's game, shall we?
Yeah, sorry for the long intro, people.
It's my favorite Monday of the year. We get the doubleheader Monday night games.
You're a lot more excited about these two games than I am, but
I know.
Yeah.
I know I am. I love the NFL, man. It's the NFL, and then it's all other sports for me. And of course, it's one of the harder ones to cap because the lines are always sharp. You know, it's.
I learned that the hard way.
Every once in a while, you can find an inefficiency, but the lines.
Yeah, you really have to get in early on some lines.
You do. It makes predicting shows very hard because a lot of times all the value has been drained out of the games.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple lines in the NFL on the overnight, which I saw lines that were an absolute joke. I saw the 49ers were 6.5 point favorite against the Jets, and I'm looking over saying, "Oh, that line's easily going to climb up to 8 or 9 before kickoff." That's probably
won't go through 10, but yeah, you're probably right. All right, Steelers Giants here, Scott. Steelers -6 is the bet. The total sits at 45 for this one. Big Ben coming back. Talk about not quite a new quarterback, but certainly
his arms are new.
A rebuilt elbow there for Big Ben Roethlisberger. Goes off against.
He's a $6 million man.
Goes against the Giants and sophomore Daniel Jones, seeing if he can keep his momentum going. How you got this one?
I think it's a lot of points, but I do think the Giants are going to be really bad. I can't lay it with Pittsburgh. I just can't do it. For me, I'm going to lean to the under. A lot of question marks for both teams offensively. You don't know what to expect from Pittsburgh, especially with Roethlisberger, who I thought was terrible last year before he even got injured. You also have to worry about the Giants. I know they revamped their offensive line. This is Pittsburgh's defense. This is easily a top 3 defense in the entire league. I got to assume that Daniel Jones will be on his back at least 5 times in this game. I think that they're going to absolutely crush him. But as I mentioned to you off air before we went on, Tomlin historically has been awful against teams with losing records. He is terrible at getting his players to show up for games that they should win. And I'm concerned that 6 points is too much for a Mike Tomlin team that'll probably sleepwalk through the first half. I've seen it before. You've seen it before. But the issue you have on the other end is that involves me taking points with the Giants. And I think the Giants are going to be terrible this year because I think Daniel Jones is a decent quarterback, but you have to wonder with a new head coach and a shortened offseason, with all these question marks, how's the offense going to look against a top 3 defense in the league? And my assumption would be poor. So for that reason, I'm going to go to the under. I think if you want to play it safe, maybe Giants team total under. And I think this game should finish probably around I was going to say 23-17, but that's basically where the 6 points is. So, yeah, I'm going to say 23-17 Steelers. That'd be my guess.
Okay. Yeah, I am going to go ahead, and for the purpose of our show here today, I am going to just take the Pittsburgh Steelers offense out of the equation. I'm going to take the Giants team total under 19.5.
That's what I was saying. So, yeah, that's where I would look.
I think 17 is the ceiling for this team. Maybe a touchdown in garbage time, although
you have to wonder if Big Ben's going to throw you a terrible interception for field position purposes, but you can't really cap that. So yeah
you're right. And but this Giants offense, other than Saquon Barkley and perhaps Daniel Jones at times,
I think the receiving core is okay, but you have huge question marks about their offensive line.
Well, the problem, I mean, Sterling Shepard is your number one guy. I mean, arguably.
You got Shepard, Golden Tate, Slayton's decent.
Golden Tate's questionable for this game.
Assuming he plays. I mean, you also got Evan Ingram, who's healthy, shockingly, because it's only week 1. He'll be injured week 5. But he's still a very good receiving tight end. I think that they have some weapons. I think the issue is that you have a rookie now as the tackle. The rest of the offensive line still isn't very good. And now you're facing such a ridiculous pass rush in the Steelers. And I mean, that would be my main play to lean to the Giants team total under because I really just think, how are the Giants going to manufacture points here?
Yeah, I agree. Agreed with
Even if
that.
even if they get like long drives for 70 yards, do I really trust the red zone offense against the
You
Steelers?
know, the only scenario I see beating us is Steelers up 31-13 and Giants getting a garbage time touchdown.
Or Roethlisberger throws a really terrible interception and the Giants take over in the red zone. I think those are your two options there. But yeah, I think the Giants offense is going to look like a disaster because what you saw, which I was alluding to during the preview, was that a lot of first-year head coaches and first-time experiences really didn't go well. I know Matt Rule lost. Looking through some of the other coaches, I'm drawing a blank on a couple, but you had the Browns head coach lost badly.
How about the coach for Washington?
Okay, he won.
It was Rivera, right?
I think it was. I know he was having cancer treatment, but I'm pretty sure he was there on the side.
But that's where he went, right? Rivera went to
He
Washington.
went to Washington. So
yeah, then he was on
Rivera. He did a good job there.
He was on the sidelines. He'd been undergoing chemo during the week, but he did make it for the game.
Yeah, so props to him. But for the most part, a lot of first-year coaches or new scene coaches really didn't look too good. And I think that Joe Judge might be in a difficult spot here against arguably the best defense in the entire league.
Arians down there in Tampa Bay. I know he's not a first-year coach, but he had all the new players.
He was there. The new players didn't look good. You were expecting to see a decent amount of struggles for new teams or new coaches or new players in new situations, and that seemed to be the case for the most part. And I don't exactly think Joe Judge in this spot's in a prime position for success. But then again, I'm just so low on Mike Tomlin against bad teams that I just don't want to lay the 6. So, yeah, I'm with you. I'd go team total under for the Giants.
All right, so then you got to be excited about the second game, and that is the Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos. Von Miller out for the year.
Is Sutton playing? Because I know that he was questionable with the issue. I'm not with the injury. I'm not sure if he's playing or not.
The last I've seen, he is still questionable. I'll look this up while we talk.
I remember him being questionable. I know that people know him from last year because he burst onto the scene, but he was great last year, and he's clearly the number one receiver. I know they ended up picking up Jerry Jeudy, and they also picked up Hamler, I believe, from Penn State. So they have a couple of weapons there. Of course, Sutton, though, is their main deep threat guy, so he's pretty big for this game, especially since the Titans lost Logan Ryan. So their secondary should be a little bit worse.
Well, and I believe last I saw, Hamler's banged up too.
There's a lot of injuries with people questionable, so it's kind of tough to predict who's going to play or not. The truth is that I might surprise you. I'm going to lean to Denver, plus the points. I know that Von Miller's injured, and the line completely exploded in favor of Tennessee. I don't know how much you think a defensive lineman's worth in terms of spreads, but they basically priced Von Miller as 3.5 points, give or take, because they were roughly around pick 'em by the time that Von Miller was announced out. And now the Titans are favored by 3. I don't think a defensive lineman's worth 3.5 points. Plus, you have the shortened offseason, everything like that, and now Tennessee has to go to the altitude. And Vic Beasley might not play either. I think Clowney's probably not going to play or is going to be on a snap restriction because he signed about a week ago. They had no practice. So, yeah, I think Denver has some value at home here. So I'm going to lean to the plus the points, so go with the home team.
All right, very good. Yeah, this is a lot of injuries going on here. Dory Jackson's out at the cornerback spot.
I'm leaning under as well, but for the sake of the actual matchup itself, I think 3 points is too many for a home team with a significant home field advantage in altitude.
Well, I think a lot of that significant home field advantage has to do with the crowd.
I think it could be too, but I think the altitude definitely should hurt teams when they haven't actually played in a game in months.
Yeah, and that's certainly possible. I think this Tennessee team is far and away the superior team.
I like Tennessee. I think that they have a very good team. It's just I think the spot and the line isn't exactly that great for Tennessee. But I think Tennessee's going to win the division again. My opinion.
Fair enough. Especially based on what we saw yesterday. If Indianapolis was supposed to be their competition, good luck.
I think the Colts will probably go 8-8. Texans I thought would go 7-9. Jaguars I still think are going to finish like 3-13. So I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, I think the Titans should probably go 10-6. Okay. I just think that if you're looking at numbers for value, you can argue Tennessee should cruise. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Especially with two teams with the total right now where points should come at a premium. I think that getting points at home in a low total like this is a decent option there. But then again, the NFL did not work out for me week 1, so you should probably take the Titans. But I'm going to lean to the Broncos.
The Titans team total over 21.5.
Okay.
I think that's going to be where the value lies for this one. I'm not. I have more uncertainty about the Broncos offense than I do about the Titans. I think the Titans are going to get theirs. I think that Derrick Henry is going to be able to have success, and this is Ryan Tannehill. He made his career last year and got that big contract, basically being able to split the zone, being able to find those seams and have his receivers sit down. He was the master of the 10 to 20 yard pass, just all the way down the field. So I think the Titans will get there. So I'll take the Team Titans over 21.5 in that one.
All right.
All right, there you go. That's an NFL show, and hope it's our NFL show / rant for the day, guys. The bottom line to this, I know you want to get out there and play. It's been a long time since the NFL has been playing. You want to get out there and make some bets. Go easy.
It's a week 1. It's a feeling out process, especially with this unique offseason.
Week 1 is always a challenge, and it's been made even more of a challenge. The fact there's been no training camp, no preseason. There's a lot of question marks. So if you can, just pace yourself, guys. We got 16 weeks left. Go easy. Let's learn a little bit, and before we get out there and start throwing the pink slip to our car at the plays, that'd be my piece of advice. So.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, and for these two games, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about them, be sure to check out winnersandwhiners.com for deep dives into every game. No deeper dive anywhere in the NFL than our handicappers right over there at winnersandwhiners.com. Check that out, of course. And we'll keep your just keep rolling right to that next video. Scott and I will be doing our MLB show right on the heels of this one. We'll look forward to seeing you there. So for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, we appreciate you stopping by and checking out the NFL on Today in Sports Betting. And we will see you next time. All right, take care.